Greetings, friends. Today we are taking a look at the Steam game, Figment. I am also doing a Steam key giveaway for Figment. This is an action-adventure game set inside a bizarre universe. Actually, I don't know for sure if it's another universe, or if it's inside somebody's brain, kind of like the movie, Inside Out. Okay, I know that's not a good description, so let me set the stage a little better. The game begins with narration of a family driving on the road in their car. A little girl is asking her dad what he does for a living, and his answer is apparently not very exciting to her, as she would rather be parachuting. This family conversation ends abruptly with the sound of a car crash and sirens. The next scene that follows is a weird-looking fellow sitting on his porch. He reminds me a bit of the guy from Katamari Damacy. This grumpy person is named Dusty, and he is disturbed by a flying bird named Piper who apparently knows him. There is some subtle dialogue to hint that they know each other, and hints that at one point there was danger in the world, but nothing has been going on lately. Piper beseeches Dusty to help, but he's not going anywhere until he's had a drink. Now, before I played the game, I took a look at the Steam page, and I thought this might be a light-hearted kids game based on the colorful world and the flying bird, but just a few minutes in the game it is established that a family was in a car wreck and the protagonist is an anti-hero who may have a drinking problem. There is even a weird comment where Dusty calls Piper a turkey tit. There is also some very mild swearing, nothing more than PG, but this dispels my notion of this being just a kid's game. The first puzzle to solve is getting poor Dusty some ice for his cider. Navigating around the world is easy using a controller. Dusty moves fluidly and has a roll move that he can do. A quick scan of the area reveals a refrigerator that can produce ice, but it's missing a battery. Luckily, the battery is easy to find, and it introduces the basic concepts of picking up items, putting them in your inventory, and then using them somewhere else. After Dusty gets his thirst quenched, we find out there is a nightmare loose on the world and more dialogue that hints that this is something that used to happen. Combat is then introduced in the game. Combat is very barebones and serves more for atmosphere than as a standalone game mechanic. For example, the first few enemies telegraph where they are going to hit with a swirling black icon under the ground. Dusty can either walk out of the way or dodge out of the way, and then the enemies are stunned for a few seconds. From there, Dusty can swing at them with his weapon, or do a charge attack with his weapon. Most enemies cannot be defeated the first time, as the invulnerability window to damage them isn't long enough, so instead the normal combat process is dodging, hitting the enemy, dodging again, hitting again. You get the idea. After Dusty dispatches those first enemies, he chases the nightmare into another world. Before leaving for the other world, Dusty finds an orb that contains a memory. See, I told you this was like Inside Out. The memory is of someone named Todd saying, "Go away, you jerk. I never want to play with you again." Is this memory from the girl in the car ride at the beginning of the game? Moving on to the next location, it is called Cerebrum City. There are houses in the city with the name of emotions like guilt and anger. Another nod to Inside Out. Taking a look at the graphics, they are whimsical with muted color palettes on some levels and bright shiny palettes on other levels. One thing that really popped out was all the motion going on the levels. The wind is blowing, rain is pouring, feathers are flying through the air, windmills are spinning, etc. The land feels very alive with all the activity going on, and helps the game stand out from normal adventure games. As far as sound, the voice acting is very good, if a bit on the comical side. The background music is good but doesn't stand out as excellent except when dealing with some of the bosses. They do some fun singing on some of the boss battles. Here is an example.
Persistent, are we? Well, for you I have a gift full of black death, rat notes, and green gills. A pharmacy of bitter pills, drenched in sweat and with a scream. You wake up from my fever dream. Your blood is boiling, your headache split. You lose your lunch and smell like something nasty. I'm the sickness you cannot quell. There is no cure, you won't get well.
I think what I liked most about the game was the juxtaposition of a colorful and silly-looking world set against a more serious plot and grumpy main character. One thing I didn't necessarily care for was some minor backtracking with a few puzzles, for example, backtracking to pick up items that were previously unreachable. It's a minor nitpick, and overall I really liked the game as the puzzles did not leave me feeling frustrated. Figment is positively reviewed on Steam. Some of the most commonly mentioned positive features of the game are the story, musical numbers, and artwork. The few negative reviews referred to simplistic puzzles and poor map navigation. I found it interesting that many of the reviews reference this as a kid's game, while I personally think the themes in the game are too dark for little kids. I recommend Figment to fans of the adventure genre, who enjoy a more story-driven game with just a little bit of combat thrown in. Would you like a chance to win a free Steam key of this game? I've got you covered. There is a link to the contest in the video description. Rest assured you are not giving away any personal information to me or signing up for any kind of anything from me. King Sumo is just the easiest way I've found to do contest giveaways. As required by YouTube mandates, I must aggressively ask you to please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.